there, you can say send announcement. You can send a little announcement saying, please acknowledge you've received this and let us know you're there, type of thing. If you want, you just type that in after you've gone live.
I went live, by the way.
Okay. Well, welcome everybody. We'll get going in a few minutes. So if you should be able to see the screen and hear my voice, hopefully you've had a chance to fix any audio or video issues you might have had with your computer and got yourself ready for this. So we're looking forward to working with you. So just give it another couple of more minutes and then we'll get going. So we'll just wait a couple of minutes. Next time we run this, I think we'll run some music because it's kind of disconcerting when it's quiet. So I'll just keep talking. This is our first time we've done this using the technology that the City of Scottsdale has provided to us. So we're hoping that this will work out nicely. So do bear with us if we have any small issues along the way. And look forward to any Q&A that you've got. Please send them through. My trusty colleague Roger Lurie is monitoring those and will be able to help coordinate and moderate any questions you have. So please send them in anytime you like throughout the whole presentation, and we'll see what we can do to address them all.
Tony, can you hear me still?
Yes.
Okay. I posted a chat out there. Welcome to the Vista del Camino Career Center LinkedIn class. Class will begin momentarily. Please confirm that you're online by typing your name into the Q&A box. Welcome. Nobody has responded, but the other curious thing is I can't seem to now enlarge the window where I see your PowerPoint. It's like the chat window is consuming most of the real estate.
Don't worry about it because the live picture is perfect at this point as far as my monitoring from my end. So don't worry about it. Just stick with the Q&A. Don't forget you've got the new Q&A and the published Q&A and the disabled Q&A. So you've got the three sections at the top of the Q&A to keep yourself occupied. Okay. Well, I have it as 4 minutes past the top of the hour, so I'm going to get started now. So hopefully everyone is here and hopefully we can move forward. So welcome again. This is the Getting Started with LinkedIn for Job Search and Professional Networking web live seminar on August the 11th at 4 p.m. Arizona time. This event is recorded and we will post the link to the whole of the video and audio on our website at the later date. So please bear that in mind. If you miss any of this, you'll be able to get to it and listen to it offline at a later date too. So straight into the presentation then. So LinkedIn, what is it? Well, it's the largest online professional networking tool out there. It's owned by Microsoft, if you didn't know that. There are now over almost 700 million users worldwide. That's a lot of people. And it connects you with all sorts of potential connections, network, recruitment, jobs, employers, even folks that you want to follow that you might look up to or admire. It's a social media tool focused on professional networking. Some more statistics for you here. As I said, more than 630, almost 650 or 60 now. It's in all 195 countries of the world. The US, the number of LinkedIn users in the US is actually more like 160 million now, not the data we've got on this slide. And we also know that LinkedIn users with more than 5 skills listed get a 31 times more views of their profile. Now that's a good thing if you're looking for work. The average number of articles published is well over 100,000 just in a week. So it's a very active network. Number of average connections per LinkedIn user, about 400. I know I have more than that, and I know some colleagues of mine that have more than that, but that's about the average. Do you really contact with all of those people? Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but we'll talk about that more later. Fortune 500. Notice that every executive in every one of those companies is a LinkedIn user, and probably with a LinkedIn assistant as well. There's a nice picture, little infogram. Tells you what it's used for. So if we start at the bottom left for the L for LinkedIn, about 28% are using it to generate business opportunities. Yes, it is used for business opportunities, not just job seeking and career guidance and so on. The I for LinkedIn, over 37% are using it for branding and presence in the marketplace. Going up the ladders there, 38% roughly speaking, to build new relationships. And that's what it was originally designed for, of course. Another 38% uncovering job opportunities. Over 45% to increase face-to-face networking. Perhaps not at this time, but normally that's the case because you can meet with people and then make arrangements to meet with them professionally. 50% virtually, building new network relationships, and which actually may turn into potential customers. 70% are connecting with past business associates. I know that's mainly my list of 400 contacts is my previous colleagues and so on. And then at the top there, 80% close to are researching people and companies. So yes, you can use this tool to research companies. If perhaps you're looking for a job at a specific company, then you can use this tool to link to it. And right at the top of the screen there, almost 80% again of users are saying that LinkedIn helped them research people. So it's got good feedback as well. So in this presentation, we like to give you some idea on how to get started and how to get a good profile. We call this the 12-step guide. I won't read through this because we're going to go through each of one of them on the subsequent slides. But you can see here that we've got 12 neat little steps that you can follow. Oh, and by the way, you'll be able to contact us at the end when we get to the last slide. I'll give you our contact details, so you'll be able to ask for this material if you wish. So the first step, create an account. Now we always say create a free account. There is such thing as a premium account, you'll see at the bottom, and it does have some additional benefits. However, you'll find that the majority of users out there have just got the free account. So if you're looking to start from scratch, you do not need to spend any money in order to get an account. It's very easy. Just go to www.linkedin.com and say register, and off you go. After you've got the account, the first thing to do is to create what we call an informative headline. Now then, this is a fairly short 5 to 10 word hook in order to get people interested in you. You want to stand out in a crowd, as we say here. So you'll see some examples below. One or two of those look a little bit long, but others tell you straight away what that person is or what that person does. And if you're looking for a particular, so the last three examples, for example, if you're looking for somebody who you know the name is Amy, but you don't know their last name properly, then you can see that there's three Amy's there, and you can find out whether that's one of those is the right one. So searching for people is also a key thing here. So your hook is very important. And at this point, what I'd like to do is just jump over and show you the hook that I've used on my profile. So hopefully this works. So there, you should be able to see at this point my LinkedIn page. And there, I'll just go to the Me button and view my profile. So I'm now looking at my own profile. You'll see that my profile hook is now career counselor, educator, and business IT consultant. So straight away, you know that I'm doing those types of activities. Okay, back to the presentation. And then we'll move on. So create that headline and think about what you want to put in there. Again, keep it short, but make it a good hook. The next thing to do is, yes, put a photograph up there. I know a lot of people are worried about putting photographs of themselves on the internet, but it's really key because, again, if you're looking for me, and I should have introduced myself, I apologize, I'm Tony Coates. If you're looking for me and you find several of those names, then if you see a picture and you say, that's the one. And also it's very important because look at the note at the bottom of the page here. Members with profile photographs receive up to 21% more profile views. Sorry, 21 times more profile views and 9 more connection requests. So it's very important that you have a good picture. And of course, there are good photos and bad photos, and you can see the obvious ones there right in front of you. On to step 4. The next piece is to write a professional summary. Now, this is kind of the same thing you would put at the top of your resume. Again, this is still part of that hook. Do I really want to recruit and hire Tony Coates? So I'm going to read this professional summary, and if it really jumps out and makes me want to know a little bit more about him, then that's what you really want. Here you've got 2,000 characters, but we wouldn't recommend using all of that. Just stick to 3 or 4 short paragraphs. Stay away from buzzwords and acronyms and words that not many people would understand, and write like you speak. So make it a little bit more personalized. Keep lots of white space so it doesn't become unreadable. And think how you might start a cover letter on this. It's the same sort of thing. And the last point is about getting some keywords into this 2,000 character section. So consider adding what we call a pipe-delimited list of keywords. A recruiter search tool will actually search these keywords. So there's an example at the bottom there. Drives performance by developing people. And then the pipe character. Passion for integrity and commitment to customers. And then the pipe character, etc. That's what the pipe character is above the backslash, usually on the keyboard if you're looking for it. Continuing with step 4, here's some examples of professional summaries. And see how these folks have written this one. As a recruiter for Zappos, I get to do some really cool stuff. And maybe not the way I might write it personally, given where I am in my career and at my age, but maybe it's right for you. And when he's not looking for amazing talent at Zappos, he's watching dark comedies, rereading Harry Potter for the millionth time, and so on. So you get to know a little bit about this guy or gal right away. And then the second one, I'm part of an amazing talent acquisition team, one of Chicago's most successful startups. Again, it sounds really cool to want to work there. Outside of the office, I'm committed to education. So here's a little bit about some volunteer work this person's doing. And says I'm fluent in Spanish, so therefore must be a bilingual person, I would guess. Star Wars trivia person, someone from my neck of the woods. I wonder if I should challenge them to Star Wars trivia. But it gets you interested, you see. Okay, we've got a headline, we've got a summary. Now let's start to add our work experience. This is your online resume or your curriculum vitae. Again, provide an overview like you would on a resume. Don't write too much. 2 or 3 sentences for each of the sections is all you need. Again, it's about hooking the person to want to know more about you. And focus on achievements. So look at the 2 examples. Increased sales by 12% in the first year following my promotion, as opposed to promoted to my current position where I excelled. The focus is on increased sales, not the fact that they got a promotion. And that's key because that was their achievement. And with LinkedIn, you have the opportunity to add supporting information, links to videos or portfolios of what you've done, if that's possible. Sample work. Let's say you're a web developer. You could perhaps link to one of your websites that you developed, if as long as it's not confidential. So you can actually show people more about what you've been able to do and what you've delivered than you would be able to on a simple paper resume. Moving on. What if I'm unemployed though at this point in time? What do I write as my current employer? LinkedIn forces you to say that a piece of work that you're doing is your current employment. So if you're unemployed, then use the job title that matches your goal, such as it says here, account manager seeking opportunities and employee benefits. And then for the employer, just simply list the industry. Perhaps it's retail or construction or information technology, or just simply I'm exploring new opportunities. And when you fill out this work experience, there is no need to use the month. Just simply put the year in there for the from and to dates. This helps to hide any gaps in employment that you may have had. That might sound as though it's underhand, but it's not. It's just a way of making sure that it's clear. And finally, when you're adding your experience, what if you've had those long lapses of between jobs? How can I handle those? Well, again, as we said, use the years, don't use months with the employment section. But be proactive in positively explaining the reason that you left the job. Be honest. And then list any volunteer work you did during those breaks. And that's another point that we would recommend if you're job seeking, is to do volunteer work. It helps tremendously with networking, and we'll talk more about that later. And if you can see the little joke there in the bottom right, if you can't read it, I'll read it for you. The years 1966 through 1995 are blank because I was on tour with the Grateful Dead. Hopefully that gave you a little smile. And before we move on, I'd just like to take a small pause there and ask my colleague if we've had any Q&A during this period. Roger? Are you on mute, Roger? Okay, well, if we've not had any Q&A, I'll move on. The next step is to add skills while you're doing this. And again, skills are very important. These are those keywords that the recruiter tool within LinkedIn and from any of the hiring managers will search for. And we've noted statistics out there tell us that 5 or more skills receive up to 17 times more profile views and 27 more likely to be found by a recruiter. So do add a few of those skills in the skills section, and as a little picture of what it looks like on the web. And in fact, I will jump over and show you where that is.
Tony, I'm sorry, I had my screen scooted down and I could not see the unmute button to let you know that David Murphy is online, and David wrote us and said, Roger, your message is not visible from my end. That's all. That is the only comment or question that's come in so far.
Okay. Please tell David that he needs to open the Q&A section, have that open at the side of his window so he can see what's happening.
I think he did. I think he has.
Okay, so you haven't published that question then, Roger. That's probably what's happened, because I don't see it either from my end.
I published it as a chat, and I wonder if I should have published it as an announcement, as Q&A.
It is, yes. It should be in the Q&A, not the chat.
Yeah, my mistake.
No problem. We live and learn, and hopefully everyone online is having fun and learning. Okay, so I was talking about adding skills. So let me jump over to my profile again, and let me show you about adding skills. So down here in my profile, about 2/3 the way down, there's a section in here about skills and endorsements. So as you can see here, there's a little add a skill button, and you cut the pencil and you can add skills. As you've noticed here, I've got 3 skills at the top here I list first, and then I've got some other skills that I've got listed. Now you might think, oh my gosh, he's got so many skills listed. Well, yes, maybe it's too many, but you need at least 4 or 5 in order to get yourself noticed. So have as many as you can. And these numbers, this little number here next to where it says quality management, this is where people have endorsed me for having this skill, and we'll talk about endorsements later. Okay. So, after you've done all the work, we've got a headline, we've got a summary, we've got all of our work experience, and we've now got our skills in there. Next is to add your education and any credentials you may have. Again, credentials include degrees, certifications, and any relevant training. Perhaps you've had some on-the-job training, or you've actually taken some extracurricular training. Get it all in there. It's important. Once again, we talk about skills here. Get those keywords in there. I've talked about volunteer experience. Make sure you include any volunteer work, because that demonstrates how you are connecting with others outside of just the 9 till 5 job. Endorsements, and we'll talk some more about another type of recommendation as well. Endorsements are where colleagues endorse you. So they come back and they say, I endorse Tony for knowing all about information technology. And I say, thank you. And that goes on the skill list. And as you saw previously, I'll jump back again. Why not? So 54 people have endorsed me for quality management. 49 of those were from my previous employer. So do you trust that? Or were those 49 people all my buddies from AstraZeneca? So this is why endorsements can and cannot, can and maybe are usually good, and other times they're not. And I want to talk more about that on a different slide. While we're adding our credentials, please make sure you get your accomplishments in there. Perhaps you've run projects outside of the company or projects within the company. Perhaps you've written publications or special tests that you've taken, or you've worked with other organizations, languages, honors, patents. Get them all in there so that anyone reading your profile knows the full roundedness of your entire experience. And again, note at the bottom there, members with education, licenses and certification receive 11 more times the profile views and 6 times more connection requests. So it's really reaching out to the networks. Now then, recommendations, the other type of endorsement, if you like. Now then, these are collected by you reaching out to your professional network. And you say, hello, Roger, we worked together on project A, B, and C in 2015, and we had a really good outcome. Would you please write a recommendation for me? Now, my network colleague, Roger, then reads that and says, yeah, you know what? Tony led that project and he did a really good job. We were in on time and in budget. And so I'm going to write that down. And just a short paragraph. And these recommendations, as I say, it's you reaching out to your colleague or network connection, and then they are the ones who are providing it. Because it's written in their words and in their notes and so on, then it's much more real than somebody just saying, well, I endorse Tony Coates for project management. So recommendations are very important. And I'll show you a couple on my profile. Right down there, right underneath the skills. So there's 2 recommendations I have. One from a vice president and another from a colleague who was in the same team as I was before she moved to Hoffman La Roche. And you can see what they're saying about me personally. And it's much more powerful than just, someone telling me that, Larry and 35 others have noted me for knowing about pharmaceutical industry. This tells a lot more because it tells them what I was able to do and how I work with them. So again, recommendations, very important. And here's a little piece of LinkedIn technology. You have a profile. Once you've created the account, you actually have a profile link. And it is just as it is down here in the bottom third of this slide, linkedin.com/in/ and then what you'll normally see there is a bunch of characters because it's trying to provide you with a unique identifier. But you can edit that last section. And again, I'll show you on my profile. We go to the contact info. We say we want to change it. And there's my profile ID. So I click this little arrow up here. And I get to this section right here. Can we see this at the top right? Personalize the URL for your profile. If I click this little pencil, see how I can now change that. I'm not going to do that, but you can see that my name, Tony-Coates, is in there. Now, out of 660 million users on this system, I am the only one who can have Tony-Coates. Even if there's 100,000 other Tony or Anthony Coates out there, they've got to think of something else. But it's important because now that link, I can copy and paste that into my email signature. I could have it on my resume. I can send it to prospective employers in a cover letter. It's important because when they click on that, they know that they're getting to the right Tony Coates. So you can change that, and this slide talks all about that. Again, remember, because it's a universal resource locator, case is insensitive. So John Smith, John S. Smith, John with the capitals and so on, it's all the same. But you will be able to identify yourself so much better if you've got something there that's obvious rather than A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Step 9, join groups. Now then, what's a LinkedIn group? LinkedIn groups are groups of members that have gotten together and said, we have a consistent interest and a shared interest in a particular topic. And so they get together and they join it and they create a group. Now, what you can do with groups is you can then have conversations with like-minded people. So perhaps someone in that group is asking for advice and you know the answer, you can help them out by answering the post. A good example I've used in the past is that someone was asking about doing sterility testing in the pharmaceutical testing of prospective pharmaceutical products before they reach the humans. And I answered the person on how to do that. And we had a good conversation back and forth. And, you know, others joined in and with opinions on how it was best done and so on. And so because we were all of the same mindset, we had a really good sharing of experiences and assistance to each other. So again, I'll show you on my profile, groups. Just go back to LinkedIn for now. In fact, I've already got it open. So okay, back to my profile. Groups you'll find under this section here where it says work. And down here, you'll now see groups. There they are. So we click groups. And immediately you now see all the groups that you're a member of. So I've joined the Wharton School of Knowledge in Pennsylvania. I'm a member of the Project Management Network. I'm interested in quality management, in good manufacturing practice and so on. Lean Six Sigma businesses, pharmaceutical Q&A, and so on and so on and so on. And there's our group, the Vista del Camino Career Center. So do join groups. And to join a group, it's quite simple. If you find the one you want, you can just click on it. And some groups will have to go to a moderator to allow you in. Others just let you join right away. So you can join groups as many as you want to and be active in them. And that's key to what I just said. You've got to remain active because otherwise people will forget you. And very key information here, if you're looking for work, recruiters will often filter who they're looking for based on group membership. So if you're a member of a, let's take my example again, the pharmaceutical good manufacturing process regulations used by all the countries in the world through their various regulatory authority bodies. If I'm a member of that group, I might pop up in one of the recruiters' searches, but if I'm not, and they're looking for pharmaceutical experience, then I've missed out. So do make sure you join groups if you can. Step 10, share articles. Now this one is key. You've got to keep your profile active. It's about relationship building. Not just about creating the biggest network you can possibly create. It's about connecting with those people. So create an article, either write it yourself or repost something else that you think is very interesting. Your connections are immediately notified that you've actually posted something. Then your network can either share that along and take it further. Perhaps you want to publish valuable content about positions that you have an authority on. So don't just post something that might be of interest to only a few people, but make sure it's something that you know something about. So if they ask questions, you can follow up. And do ask questions and comment on other posts that perhaps show up. And finally, our last bullet, obviously, because this is a professional network, do avoid strong political statements or any inappropriate language. And obviously, do not share personal information. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So over here on the left-hand side, I can see views of my post. Here's some posts I've made. So the last one I sent out was something about using the STAR storytelling technique for getting ready for an interview. And this is the post. And what you do is, of course, you can click on the link and it will take you to the article. And the interesting thing here is I've had 365 people looking at that post, but only 4 people have decided to say, you know, thumbs up, I like it. That's okay, I don't care. At least 365 people looked at it and perhaps even clicked on it. They don't have to acknowledge me, I don't mind. The one prior to that was about specific, you know, techniques for searching for jobs during this COVID-19 pandemic. Again, 300 and some views of it. So by posting these articles, and if you look at the front page of my profile again, you'll see that I've got 34 people looking at my profile on a regular basis. That's what that number means. Okay, so posting articles, whether they're your own or you're just following up with something that you've seen that you think is very valuable, it's great. Keep doing it. Step 11, connecting. Now, this is where you're building your network. LinkedIn has 3 levels of network categories. First degree. So those are the people who you have connected to directly. So my colleague Roger and I, for example, we're connected together. So we are both first degree connection with each other. Second degree. Those are the people who are connected to your first degree connections. So all of Roger's first degree connections are second degree with me. And similarly, all of my first degree connections are second degree with him. And then third degree is the next step back from that. So you can see how it works. However, the more first degree connections you have, obviously the more second and third degree you then get. So literally you could have connections with millions of people. And it's very important that you make sure you are very careful with building those first degree connections. So do that strategically. Don't just willy-nilly accept a connection if someone reaches out to you. If you've got an account, you've probably already seen this yourself. People will say, oh, I want to connect to you. Is that okay? Don't just say yes. Think about who they are and what they want. And is it appropriate for you to connect with them? And that will then make sure that your searching for people is done in a better way, and connections that are not relevant are kept away from your network. And if you're doing it the other way around and you're asking to connect to someone, write a personal message. Don't just use what LinkedIn provides you. Okay? Make sure, you know, hey, we met at such and such a conference last week, and we said we would reach out to each other. So I'm reaching out now to make a connection. Or I worked with you in a LinkedIn class, and I'd like to join your network. And of course, the instructor knows who you are because you were there. So make sure you're doing this in a very strategic way. Don't just try and build the biggest network. It will not help you. Again, if you're looking for work, there is a way to indicate on your profile that you are interested in new opportunities. Let me show you. Let's look at my profile again. As you can see right at the top there, it says I'm open to work. And these are the industries I'm interested in: career counseling, education, projects management, quality management. If you click see details, there we go. And if I click the pencil, now I can add more. I can add locations. I can say I'm only interested in part-time or remote work, or I'm no longer open. Okay, so that's your new job preferences area. This is very important, this second bullet. If a recruiter reaches out to you, and they may come to you and say, hey, we've got this role, this opportunity, and we've looked at your profile and we think you are a perfect fit for it. Can we discuss this further? Please respond, even if it's to say no, thank you. Because if recruiters reach out to you personally and you do not respond, pretty soon that message gets across to a lot of other recruiters who say, well, we always reach out to John Smith and he never responds, so forget him. So even if you're not interested, say no, thank you. I've had a couple where they've offered me an opportunity and I've said no, thank you. I'm really only looking for part-time work, or I'm only looking for blah 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 blah. Please keep me on your list in case opportunities such as that show up in the future. And they're absolutely, yeah, wonderful. We understand. Thank you. We'll keep you on our list. So engage with people. Do not ignore them. If you're targeting a specific company, engage with that company. Follow it on LinkedIn. Connect with people you might know that work there. Share posts from that company. Again, recruiters will notice that you're doing that. And then there's a link at the bottom of the page here that will allow you to find people and hashtags. Do we all know what a hashtag is? Yes, of course we do, if we're familiar with Twitter and Facebook and all those other social media tools. You can search on hashtags. Again, let me show you on my profile. Let me see if I can get there. So there we go. So in this post that I gave, I added these hashtags: interview preparation, interview questions, interview advice. Now I can search on any, if I click that word, interview advice, that essentially searches all articles that have gotten that hashtag in it, 2,400 of them, including mine, and from all over the place, from all different people. So this link will allow you to follow specific hashtags, or follow people, or follow companies. And again, this increases the chance of you being noticed by recruiters. Step 12, networking itself. Of course, there is many ways to network in a professional sense, but LinkedIn provides you a way to do this online. And given our current situation with the pandemic, it is one of the most powerful tools we have available to us right now. However, I like to say at this point, it isn't just about building the network. I think I may have said this already. You've got to nurture, you've got to feed those relationships. So here's some key do's and don'ts of networking using the LinkedIn tool. As I've said before, be active and post thoughtful responses to discussions, to posts, when you're in groups. If you do post a discussion, make sure you're adding value to that discussion. Don't just try and promote yourself. Keep that profile alive. As it says here, you just have to post one update, one article, one little thing about something you're interested in, just once a week. And you'll notice that it keeps that profile alive because people are still looking at you. As you saw from my previous section, that last post, and that was only a week ago, I've had over 360 people look at it in a week. So they still know I exist. And that's important for both recruiting and keeping in contact with your network folk, your network colleagues. This one's an interesting one. Avoid complex word combinations. Something like strategically powering visionary organizations. What does that mean? Use simple language and recognizable business terms so folks understand you. Perhaps you're posting something about the pharmaceutical industry and a colleague or a friend or another connection doesn't really understand the pharmaceutical industry. Don't go into jargon and bamboozle them because they will not appreciate it. And don't hog a conversation either. I once had a situation where I was following a conversation in one of the pharmaceutical regulatory areas in the groups, and this gentleman kept coming back. Every time somebody posted something, this gentleman would come back. I don't agree with that. You're doing it wrong. You know, no, this is the way to do it. Back and forth, back and forth. And all this guy was doing was making us all frustrated with him. He was not adding value, as I suggested we do at the top of this slide. He was not adding value. All he was doing was trying to promote himself, and he was really annoying. So don't make this your soapbox. Don't try and make it into something that it isn't. And finally, remember, LinkedIn is not a chore. Okay? This is the best networking tool available, and it's free. So if you dedicate real time and effort to making your connections, working with your connections, keeping posting articles, making sure everything is up to date, you will establish a long-term relationship with many people, and they will thank you for it. And I believe that is the final slide. Yes. So here we are at the end. I will now, before I ask Roger to tell me about questions and answers, I would like to tell you this is how you would contact myself or Roger at the Vista del Camino Career Center. You can use our email addresses that are shown here, or you can call the center 480-312-0060. And at this point, I'll ask Roger to let me know if there's any Q&A.
Tony, I think you have covered LinkedIn so well that we have no questions from the vast network of people in our audience. I believe there are thousands out there listening right now, but you covered things so effectively that no questions were asked.
Okay, well then, that's great.
Bravo.
So, I would like to thank my colleague Roger for helping me coordinate this presentation, and thank you all for listening. We've just about made it around 50 minutes, which is pretty good. We've got time for questions if there are any more, but otherwise we can call this quits. And as I said, if you would like information or follow-up, please make a note of those email addresses or the phone number and let us know if you want follow-up, and we can send you both this presentation material and also the recorded live event.
I just posted an announcement in the Q&A, so if anybody has any last minute questions, you're free to speak up or email Tony again at tcoates@scottsdaleaz.gov or myself, rlurie, RLURIE, @scottsdaleaz.gov. And we hope to see you virtually through the Career Center soon.
So with that, I'd like to close the presentation. And once again, thank you to everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye.